It is often much simpler when you are developing landscape design work to include images in the design. And here we have an example of a design for roadside verge where the aim is to capture runoff water from roadway and put it into the verge environment. There are two ways to put images into gCADPlus, or three, but they involve either going to draw and then to the raster image option down here, or going to format and images call up the image editor, but both call up the same little window. So we'll go this way and say raster image. That calls up the image manager, and I have some images loaded here, and I've actually edited them in the native image editor that comes with a Mac. I'm using a Mac in this instance, and I'm going to insert that image of a species called Tetratheca, and I'll OK it, and I'll just roughly line things up and draw like so. Now I'm in the habit of wanting my images to line up. In most instances that's useful. So what I've got here is a rectangle, and I've changed the fill to no, and I've changed the corner radius here. So it's been given a corner radius, and that's why you see that little curve around there. If I select it, you can see there's the corner of the rectangle, but there's a little radius being added to it. What I'd like to do is to line my images up. It just makes for a neater result. And what I want to show you here is that you can use the same object snap tools that we've been using in the draw environment when you're handling images. So an image just lives in a frame. I need to pan down like so. So what I've done is I've put a construction line across here, an X line runs across. So I want these images here to line up with that construction line. So I can pick the image, and it's important to not just to stretch it by this. You see this handle here, if I stretch it to the construction line, that will distort the image slightly, and I don't want to do that. So if I right click and pick move, now I can use object snap tools. We are asked to specify the base point, so I'm going to indicate that handle there, and then I'll come across to perpendicular to that construction line. Now when I escape from there, that image lines up perfectly with the construction line with this image on the other side, and I can probably select both of these at the same time and do the same thing. They're selected, so right click and pick move, and then pick the handle on the edge of the photograph of the native correa, and I'll click it and then again move perpendicular to that construction line. So they all line up well, and now provided polar is on, and it is, I can pick this image up and just move it horizontally across so that the gap between the images is the same. And at this point I would remove the construction line. Let's just erase it. Pick it, use a crossing window, and then left click and erase. And there we are. The typical verge planting shows neatly, and the two images for the road detail also show. So those images there give me an opportunity. I can show a lot of detail in the design without having to do detailed drawings of every part of it. And remember, this is a let me zoom extents here, and we'll zoom in here. This is just a concept drawing. So we've got the existing plants on the site, these two image blocks here, and we're seeing through down into the dryland rock. We're trying to simulate, in a sense, a dry watercourse. So I hope that sheds some light on the use of images in the gCADPlus environment.